a civil construct. I don't know if anybody here remembers all the commercials they'd have for like Jenga and for pictograph or pictogram, whatever the hell that, and they would show commercials on TV with grown-ups, with friends. They were all paired. They were all white. They were all in the same room together, and they're playing a game. Man, woman, man, woman, man, woman. There were teams, and there were commercials on TV like, oh, yeah, charades, draw a picture on the wall, and yeah, they're having so much fun. Not a drink in anybody's hand. All they're saying is, when you want to get away from the kids, like my grandfather said, when I said to him, what did you do for fun when you were a kid? I was an adult. He was on the brink of death. Right there in that time when he was still lucid and still sitting there with his shirt off. Us Eldricklists, we don't like shirts. And he's sitting there. And he said, huh? I said, what? He was hard of hearing. I said, what did you have for fun when you were a kid? He said, didn't have any fun. Grew up during the Depression and the Prohibition and World Wars. And it's just like these days. You know, I think they even had the Spanish flu in his time, and I know they had polio and scarlet fever. Why do we act like this is the government's fault? Do you think they had that much science back then that they could just be devising drugs to throw on fucking people? If they're in a fucking lab right now, they're trying to figure out the drugs so they can keep it from happening. Of course, I'd say they don't fucking make angrier drugs to be able to fight whatever's coming next. I don't know. That's got nothing to do with this. What did you do for fun when you were a kid? And then he said that he had moved to Detroit for a while, and he was just like, with other kids in his 20s. And he said they'd play cards sometimes. And so this is what they're doing. In the 80s and 90s, with all these commercials, they were trying to make America great again, too. Just sit around doing nothing. Playing a fucking card game. You want to fucking play a game? How about this one? What do you think of me? There's a game for the fucking coming times. Won't sell. Don't know if it can be a board game or not. And they could play it for people that are mute. What do you think of me? And they could draw a picture on the wall. It'd be like pictogram or whatever the hell that fucking game was. What do you think of me? Let's make this the new party game for strangers. People that don't really know the other person well enough in the room to be able to trust them. And they have to gauge how much of themselves they can tell. And so the game starts out, what do you think of me? And this guy that's your age and just a fucking wreck. All he's got left is his political beliefs. He can tell you. And then he gets to ask you, now, what do you think of me? And you get to tell him. And it either ends in a fight, a physical altercation that could go anywhere, or it ends with somebody just shutting the fuck up. And it's just like we get to bring politics into our own homes. Hey, what do you think of me?